I thought I was making the safest choice for my golden years when I moved into a nursing home. I pictured a place where meals were cooked for me, friendly faces filled each hallway, and help was always at the ready. But the reality? It was a gentle shock to my heart and my expectations. Take Alice, a spirited 78-year-old who adored her independence. She'd spent decades managing her household, hosting family gatherings, and tending her rose garden. When her children arranged for her to move into a nearby nursing home for peace of mind, she agreed, trusting it would be a supportive extension of home. Instead, Alice discovered that communal living came with rigid schedules, unexpected loneliness, and rules she never signed up for. Or consider Paul, who at 82 expected engaging activities, art classes, group exercises, movie nights to keep him motivated. What he found was paperwork to sign before he could join a yoga session, understaffed evenings that left him waiting for help, and a dining hall where mealtimes felt rushed and impersonal. My own experience mirrored these stories. The promise of safety and companionship gave way to the reality of PR and call lights, a rotating roster of aides, and hallways that echoed with quiet regrets. It wasn't fear that drove my unease. It was noticing how small decisions like when to eat, when to wake, even when to bathe were out of my hands. This isn't about villainizing nursing homes. They provide vital care for many. But if you or a loved one is considering this step, there are 6 important warnings you need to know. They aren't widely advertised, and they could mean the difference between a place that truly supports your well-being and one that feels like a good deal on paper but falls short in practice. By sharing these hard-won insights, rooted in research, enriched by real stories, and delivered with compassion, I hope to help you plan smarter, ask the right questions, and protect the dignity and joy you deserve. One of the hardest realities I discovered was how little control I had over my own day. In my home, I chose when to wake, when to eat, and when to rest. In a nursing home, those decisions often belong to a central schedule, and it can feel like your life is being dictated by a clock rather than by your own needs. Meet Irene, an 80-year-old retired teacher. At home, she treasured her morning ritual: a cup of tea at dawn, a chapter of her favorite book, and a slow walk in her garden. But at Silver Pines Nursing Home, breakfast was strictly served at 8 a.m., no exceptions. If you weren't in the dining room by 8:05, your tray was whisked away. By the time Irene adjusted her slippers, her porridge was gone, and with it, her sense of dignity. Then there's Paul, who loved afternoon naps but found on his first day that quiet hours didn't begin until 2 p.m. and end at 4 p.m., regardless of his own pace. Nurses encouraged him to rest when their schedule dictated, not when his body asked. When Paul tried to request an earlier rest period, he was told, "We're on a tight routine for everyone's benefit." His benefit felt secondary to the institution's timetable. Research in gerontology shows that maintaining personal routines is essential for seniors' mental health. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Health found that when older adults lose autonomy over daily choices, feelings of helplessness and depression rise significantly. Smith et al., 2019. Autonomy isn't a frivolous want, it's a core ingredient of well-being. So what can you do before moving in? Ask about the daily schedule in detail. Will you have flexibility for meals, medications, and activities? Can you adjust meal times if you prefer a lighter breakfast and a heartier lunch? Is there a system for honoring individual sleep patterns? If a facility's routine feels too rigid, look elsewhere or discuss accommodations ahead of time. A good nursing home will recognize that honoring personal rhythms isn't just a courtesy, it's a lifeline to one's identity and happiness. One of the most heartbreaking truths I faced was the loneliness. Even though I was surrounded by people, the experience of being in a nursing home made me feel more isolated than ever. In my own home, I had neighbors I could call, friends who visited, and family who popped in for spontaneous chats. But in a facility, it often feels like you are just another name on a roster. Take Alice, for example. She moved into a nursing home after her husband passed away. Alice thought she would find a community of people to connect with, but instead, she often found herself staring out the window at the families walking by, wishing for that simple sense of connection. She told me, "I thought I'd be surrounded by people, but in reality, it's easy to feel invisible." Irene had similar experiences. Though the nursing home had activities, she never felt truly engaged. At home, she could call a friend or drop by a neighbor's house for tea. But at Silver Pines, the group activities were structured and impersonal. If you didn't fit into the established groups or share the same interests, it was hard to make meaningful connections. Alice's comment struck me deeply. I never thought I'd miss those small moments, like a neighbor knocking on my door or someone stopping by to share a laugh. The data on loneliness in seniors is staggering. According to the National Institute on Aging, over 40% of older adults report feeling lonely on a regular basis. Loneliness can increase the risk of depression, cognitive decline, and even heart disease. It's not just about missing social interaction, it's about the tangible toll isolation can take on your health. Before making the move, ask how the facility fosters connections. Does it have support groups, social events, or volunteer programs? Is there an option for family and friends to visit regularly, even beyond scheduled visiting hours? If you're someone who thrives on daily interactions, make sure the community you're entering offers plenty of opportunities for engagement. If you're already in a nursing home and feeling lonely, don't be afraid to reach out. Join activities, ask for family to visit more, or even start new traditions with fellow residents. Building connections takes time, but don't wait for others to make the first move. One of the most difficult aspects of life in a nursing home is the sense of losing control over your own life. While at home, I had the freedom to make my own choices, big and small. I could decide when to wake up, when to eat, and how to spend my day. Moving into a facility, however, I found myself following a set schedule dictated by others, whether I liked it or not. For example, Irene, who had lived independently for most of her life, found it jarring when the facility decided everything for her, from meal times to personal care routines. She didn't have the ability to go out for a walk when she wanted or enjoy her afternoon coffee at her preferred time. One day, she told me, "It feels like they control everything, my meals, my activities, even when I sleep." I can't help but agree with her. It's the small things that accumulate over time. The fact that someone else tells you when to eat or what time your medications will be given. While I understand that some of this is for safety or health reasons, it can feel incredibly suffocating, especially when you've lived a life where independence and choice were cherished. Studies have shown that a loss of autonomy can have serious psychological effects. Research from the Journal of Clinical Nursing found that a loss of personal control is linked to increased depression and anxiety in older adults. Our sense of independence is crucial to our mental well-being, and losing that autonomy can lead to a deep sense of frustration and helplessness. Before moving into any facility, ask about the level of autonomy residents have. How flexible are their routines? Are there opportunities for personal freedom and independence? It's important to know what level of control you'll still have over your daily life. If independence is important to you, you should ensure the facility can provide that flexibility. If you're already in a nursing home, try to reclaim some control where you can. Even small acts like personalizing your space, having a say in your care plan, or taking part in activities that interest you can help restore some of that autonomy. Another surprising challenge of living in a nursing home is the social isolation that can creep in, even though you're surrounded by people. You'd think that a place with so many residents and staff would be a vibrant community, but that's not always the case. For instance, take Paul, a man I met in the early days of my stay. He was a friendly, outgoing person in his younger years, but after he moved into the facility, he became withdrawn. He shared with me that while he was always around people, he didn't always feel connected to them. "It's like everyone's in their own world here," he said. "We're all in the same building, but it feels like we're miles apart." It's a sentiment I can relate to deeply. The daily interaction you have with your peers can often feel surface level. There are communal areas where residents gather, but for many, it's hard to find genuine companionship. The conversations often revolve around shared frustrations or small talk, but deeper connections can be hard to forge. Many of the residents have health issues or cognitive decline, which can make meaningful conversations difficult. Even worse, as we age, some of our friends and family might stop visiting or are no longer able to visit regularly. That can lead to a sense of abandonment, even when you're living in a space that's meant to care for you. The isolation isn't always about physical distance. It's the emotional distance that creeps in when you realize you're no longer the central part of someone else's life. Research supports this idea, showing that loneliness and social isolation can lead to significant health risks, particularly in older adults. The National Institute on Aging reports that chronic loneliness is linked to higher risks of heart disease, depression, and cognitive decline. It's essential to actively combat this isolation. Find ways to stay connected, whether it's reaching out to old friends, using technology to video chat with family, or simply attending group activities to forge new friendships. While the facility might offer opportunities to meet others, it's up to you to take that first step towards socializing. Staying connected to your loved ones is key. Maybe ask them to set up a regular phone call, send postcards, or even schedule video chats. Don't hesitate to make the most of your time by being proactive about maintaining relationships. One of the most difficult aspects of moving into a nursing home is the profound sense of losing control over your own life. For many, it feels as though you're no longer in the driver's seat of your own journey. Irene, another resident I met, shared her feelings of frustration with me one afternoon. "I've spent my whole life making decisions for myself," she said. "And now, it feels like I'm constantly waiting for someone else to make the decisions for me. From what I eat, when I take my meds, to even when I wake up. It's all out of my hands." It's a feeling that many of us can relate to. When you move into a nursing home, your daily schedule is often dictated by someone else. Meals are served at set times, medication is administered by nurses, and activities are planned by the staff. For someone who has spent their entire life making their own choices, this loss of autonomy can feel deeply unsettling. This lack of independence can also extend to more personal decisions. Simple tasks like choosing your clothes or when to leave your room can sometimes feel like privileges you no longer have. For many, this loss of control is one of the hardest adjustments to make. Research highlights how important independence is for our sense of well-being. The ability to make choices, big or small, has been linked to higher levels of happiness, health, and overall life satisfaction. It's natural to want to remain in control of your surroundings and your decisions, even as we grow older. While some of this loss of control is inevitable in a nursing home setting, it's important to remember that there are ways to regain some autonomy. Take the initiative to have open conversations with staff about your preferences. Find moments in the day where you can assert your independence, and try to maintain hobbies or routines that empower you. If moving to a nursing home feels like the best choice for you or your loved ones, don't forget that you can still maintain your dignity and sense of self by taking control of what you can. Whether it's choosing your own clothes, deciding when to take a walk, or simply expressing your desires, small victories can help restore your sense of agency. Conclusion: moving into a nursing home can be a decision driven by necessity, but it's not always the perfect solution. It's important to go into this transition with eyes wide open, understanding the challenges it might bring. The 6 hard truths we've discussed today, the lack of personal control, social isolation, the feeling of being a burden, unexpected financial strain, and the reality of medical care, are crucial to consider. However, the decision to move into a nursing home doesn't have to be a one-way street toward loneliness or regret. You can take steps to combat these challenges and ensure that your experience is one of dignity, comfort, and meaningful connections. If you're considering this transition, or if you're already there, I hope these insights will guide you in making decisions that best serve your well-being. If you found this information helpful, please consider subscribing to The Elder Voice. We're here to share wisdom, inspiration, and life lessons that can help you navigate the journey of aging with grace and purpose. Stay connected and remember, no matter where you are in life, your voice matters. Title: Why I Regret Moving to a Nursing Home, 6 Truths Every Senior Should Know Before Making the Move. Description: Moving to a nursing home is a big decision, especially for seniors seeking independence and peace in their later years. But what if the reality of life in a nursing home isn't what you expected? In this video, we delve into 6 hard truths about nursing homes that every senior should consider before making the move. From loss of independence to social isolation, these challenges can be more difficult than many anticipate. As we age, we often seek comfort and safety, but sometimes the downsides of nursing homes can outweigh the benefits. The lack of autonomy, financial strain, and even emotional toll are factors to consider when thinking about elderly care. Whether you're nearing retirement or already in your senior years, it's essential to understand these challenges to make an informed choice about your future living situation. We'll also explore alternatives to nursing homes that may better suit your needs, such as assisted living or home care, which can provide the support you need without sacrificing your independence. Life lessons from the elderly, including advice for navigating the challenges of senior living, can help guide you toward making the best decision. Join us on The Elder Voice for more wisdom, inspiration, and practical advice on how to live your best life in your golden years. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into senior health, motivation, and tranquility wisdom. Stay connected for more advice from wise elders on senior living and the realities of nursing homes.